Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into the conversation around US China relations with a focus on Ronnie Chan's insights, touching on the past, present, and future dynamics.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how his perspective, drawing on decades of experience, really frames the issues we face today, right?
Right. Ronnie Chan, as honorary chair of Hang Lung Properties and chair emeritus of the Asia Society, brings a unique combination of business acumen and deep cultural insight, which makes his analysis particularly compelling.
Yep. And it's not just him. He's chatting with Lin Hang Nguyen from the Weatherhead East Asian Institute at Columbia University. That adds a strong academic layer to the discussion, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. They really unpack the weight of the 2024 US presidential election on future US China ties and on global stability.
What I found interesting is how they blend historical context with contemporary political challenges. It's like they're mapping out a timeline of influence from past decisions that still echo today.
Absolutely. It's like they're looking back at patterns, how historical interactions have laid the groundwork for today's policy decisions, and then they speculate on what might come next.
Exactly. And consider the way they address global stability. Chan argues that the outcomes of domestic politics, like this presidential election, have deep ramifications beyond US China relations. How do you see that playing out?
Right, it's a ripple effect, really. It's as if the US political climate influences global markets, alliances, and even, strategic alliances across the world.
Yeah. So, would you say that his perspective on a stable future is optimistic, or is it more cautionary?
Well, it's a mix, I'd say. While he does recognize the potential for progress in diplomatic channels, he also warns against the pitfalls of miscalculation. It's like walking a tightrope.
Mm-hmm. That's a vivid image. A tightrope indeed. But do you think his optimistic elements might underplay some of the structural challenges in US China relations?
That's a good point. I mean, while Chan certainly highlights opportunities for dialogue and cooperation, he also doesn't shy away from the complexities of economic competition, technological rivalry, and differing political ideologies.
Right, exactly. It's like he's saying, yes, there's room to maneuver, but don't let your guard down.
Exactly, it's a balanced view. Also, his discussion is enriched by the introductory remarks from Columbia's interim president Katrina Armstrong and university professor Jeffrey Sachs. Their input sets a broader stage for these complex dynamics.
Mm-hmm. And having voices like Armstrong and Sachs really amplifies the importance of integrating policy, economics, and history into the conversation.
Yes, yeah, it's like each contributor adds a unique layer. Chan's background in both business and cultural affairs means that he recognizes the multidimensional nature of US China relations.
Yep. So when we think about the implications of the 2024 US election that he discusses, what are the main drivers he identifies?
Well, he points to leadership choices, policy shifts, and how these internal decisions impact international strategies. It's almost as if he's drawing a blueprint for future global alignments.
Right. But don't you think that this blueprint might be too optimistic about the potential for cooperation, given the deep-seated structural challenges?
That's a fair challenge. While he does lean into the potential for constructive engagement, he remains realistic about the persistent underlying tensions, like trade disputes and security dilemmas.
Mm-hmm. I see. It's like he's suggesting that while there is hope, there's no magic bullet. Change requires careful, incremental steps, right?
Exactly. And it's interesting how the dialogue also touches on the interplay between economic might and geopolitical strategy, a domain where even minor shifts in US domestic policy can send shockwaves through global markets.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something not all observers grasp immediately. The notion that domestic elections aren't solely about internal issues but have far-reaching impacts, that's quite profound.
Yup, it's like an interconnected web. You make a change in one corner and it ripples out, touching everything from supply chains to military postures.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of ripple effects, did you catch how Chan touches on global stability in a broader sense? He seems to argue that the US China dynamic is a bellwether for worldwide security and economic trends.
Yes, exactly. He's painting a picture where US China relations are central to global order, almost like a keystone species in an ecosystem.
Right, right. I like that metaphor. It's almost as if, without healthy US China interactions, the whole global structure could falter. But then again, can we really compare international relations to an ecosystem?
That's a valid critique. While the ecosystem analogy is useful for, yeah, illustrating interdependence, it might oversimplify the political nuances. Still, it does capture the essence of systemic fragility.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. And it really emphasizes how a shift in one major player's policy can cause unpredictable consequences.
Right, and going back to the talk, Chan highlights the significance of history. He reminds us that US engagement with China has evolved, influenced by past conflicts and diplomatic breakthroughs that shaped current policies.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of the aspects I find most grounding in his arguments. The reminder that current tensions are not isolated, they're part of a long continuum of interaction.
Exactly, it's like if you ignore the past, you risk repeating it. His historical perspective encourages a lesson in learning from previous mistakes and successes.
Exactly. And that in itself is a call for a more nuanced policy, one that takes into account not just current geopolitical trends, but the historical context behind them.
Right. And it's both a challenge and an opportunity for policymakers. They have to navigate between past legacies and future possibilities. It reminds me of trying to renovate an old house. You preserve what's valuable, but you have to update the systems to meet future needs.
Mm-hmm. I like that analogy. A renovation rather than a complete overhaul, which acknowledges continuity. How do you think Chan's business background influences this perspective?
Well, his experience with Hanglong Properties, gives him an appreciation for long term investments and the idea that relationships and trust are as important as, say, short term wins. That business mindset is really incorporated into his view of international relations.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because that business perspective contrasts with some of the more ideological approaches to US China relations. It suggests a pragmatic pathway forward, one that balances risk and reward.
Exactly, and that balance is critical. As much as there are disagreements and even potential points of conflict, there's also, yeah, mutual reliance that both sides cannot ignore.
Right. Overall, exploring these insights makes me wonder if we're on the brink of a new chapter in global diplomacy, one that's more cautious yet hopefully constructive.
Absolutely, it's a call to not only reflect on the lessons of the past, but also to proactively shape a future where dialogue and respectful engagement are at the forefront.
Mm-hmm. And as we keep an eye on upcoming elections and shifting policies, it's crucial to remember the bigger picture that Chan so eloquently presents.
Indeed, it's about understanding that every decision made on the domestic front has international repercussions. A reminder that global stability isn't built overnight, but through continuous mindful effort.
Yep, exactly. This conversation definitely gives us a lot to think about as we watch future developments in US China relations.
For sure. And it's these kinds of deep dives that help us appreciate the layered nature of international relations, blending history, politics, and even a bit of economics.
Truly. Well, thanks for the thoughtful discussion. It certainly left me pondering about what the future holds and how every piece of today's puzzle is integral to tomorrow's picture.
Absolutely. It's been great unpacking these insights with you. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the world around us.
Yep, indeed.